For years, Pawn Stars has been one of TV's most watchable reality shows, part treasure hunt, part history lesson, part personality parade. Among the rotating experts, one person drew a different kind of attention: Rebecca Romney. She wasn't there to haggle or crack jokes. She showed up with quiet confidence and deep expertise, and then, just as quietly, she was gone. Fans were left wondering, where did Rebecca go, and why? After years of speculation, the full picture of her career is finally coming into focus, and the truth might not be the tidy TV ending people expected. Rebecca's professional journey in rare books began in 2007 when she joined Bauman Rare Books in Las Vegas. The rare book trade isn't a typical career choice. It's a world where centuries-old texts, first editions, and literary artifacts are evaluated not just for price, but for cultural weight. At Bauman, she learned the craft from the inside out: how to handle fragile volumes, research their histories, and determine authenticity and provenance. It demanded a vigilant eye and a working knowledge of languages, printing history, and bibliography. For Rebecca, it was both a steep learning curve and the perfect fit. By 2010, she'd risen to manage Bauman's Las Vegas Gallery, one of the region's hubs for collectors. That role meant juggling staff, clients, and the gallery's hard-won reputation for accuracy. In rare books, you're not selling an object. You're interpreting a piece of the historical record. As manager, Rebecca took the lead in explaining why a book mattered: its place in literature, history, and the printing timeline, so buyers understood exactly what they were acquiring. Soon after, she moved to Philadelphia to take on broader responsibilities at Bauman. This was another step up, overseeing major acquisitions, sometimes entire private libraries, not just single volumes, and directing catalog production. In the rare book world, catalogs aren't just price lists. They're scholarly documents. They describe items in detail, situate them in context, and often become reference points for collectors and researchers. Rebecca's fingerprints were now on how Bauman presented its best material to the world, both commercially and academically. In 2011, Rebecca began appearing on the History Channel's Pawn Stars as the show's go-to rare book specialist. The series already had a massive audience, but books weren't a frequent headliner. Rebecca changed that. Calm and precise on camera, she translated bibliographic nuance for a general audience, explaining how to distinguish a true first edition from later printings, what condition quirks mattered, and why certain titles command premiums. Fans responded. She made a niche field feel accessible. Her TV segments did more than appraise value. They taught viewers how history, literature, and markets intersect on the printed page. Still, it's important to remember, television was an extension of her day job, not a replacement for it. Her professional center of gravity remained in the trade itself. By 2016, Rebecca joined Honey and Wax Booksellers in Brooklyn, a shop known for its distinctive, imaginative approach to collecting. Honey and Wax championed books that were significant, not just because they were old or expensive, but because they changed how we see the world. In 2017, while still at Honey and Wax, Rebecca co-founded the Honey and Wax Book Collecting Prize, celebrating collections built by women under 30. It wasn't about who had the biggest budget. It was about vision, curiosity, and curation. In a field long dominated by older male voices, the prize helped bring new collectors and new kinds of collections into the conversation. It quickly became a model for how the trade can nurture future stewards of cultural history. In 2014, Pawn Stars featured an 1,841 edition of the Book of Mormon, a title with serious historical and religious significance. What looked like an ideal on-air appraisal became more complicated when questions arose later about the book's provenance. According to reports at the time, a similar copy had been reported missing from the University of Utah's Marriott Library, and federal authorities took notice. The FBI ultimately seized the 1,841 volume and investigated how it surfaced on the show. As part of that process, Rebecca, who had evaluated rare books for Pawn Stars, was questioned. She was not accused of wrongdoing, and no charges were filed, but the mere involvement of federal investigators underscored the stakes. When you're dealing with cultural heritage, provenance checks are essential, and even robust vetting can be tested by edge case scenarios. The incident echoed a larger trend of the time. As the FBI pursued multiple cases involving stolen rare books, manuscripts, and maps taken from libraries or private collections. For viewers, it was a reminder that TV entertainment sometimes collides with real-world legal and ethical responsibilities. The controversy didn't define Rebecca's career. In 2017, she co-authored Printer's Error: Irreverent Stories from Book History with J.P. Romney, a lively tour through the strange, funny, and human side of printing and collecting. It's scholarship with a wink, written for anyone who loves books. In 2019, she appeared in the acclaimed documentary The Booksellers, which pulls back the curtain on the American rare book trade, its personalities, challenges, and passions. The film highlighted her as both a practitioner and an interpreter of book history, capable of communicating complex ideas without condescension. That same year, Rebecca co-founded her own firm, Type Punch Matrix, in the Washington, D.C. area, with partner Brian Cassidy. The business focuses on significant books and manuscripts and is known for thoughtful curation, choosing material not only for market value, but for cultural, social, and historical resonance. Starting her own firm gave Rebecca full control over acquisitions, research, and presentation. Another step toward shaping the field on her own terms. Between 2019 and 2021, Rebecca pushed into areas some traditionalists ignored, especially romance, fiction, and genre work. In 2021, she curated and sold a 100-lot capsule collection of romance novels to the Lilly Library, exhibited as Love in the Library. The point wasn't shock value, it was scholarship. Romance, wildly popular yet long dismissed in academic circles, has had enormous cultural influence. Preserving it in research libraries signals to future scholars that these voices and the people who read them matter. This thread runs through her work, challenging the hierarchy that puts high literature on a pedestal while sidelining women's writing and popular genres. Rebecca argues that value isn't only about age, rarity, or established prestige. It's also about the stories books tell about readers, culture, and lived experience. Fans noticed Rebecca began appearing less frequently on Pawn Stars. The reason wasn't scandal, it was logistics and career evolution. When she moved from Las Vegas to Philadelphia to manage central operations for Bauman Acquisitions, catalogs, coordination, TV scheduling got harder. She still appeared when possible, but her main job required being in different places, doing work that doesn't fit neatly into a taping calendar. After Philadelphia, Brooklyn beckoned, and Honey and Wax opened new projects and priorities. Then came Type Punch Matrix, and with it, the responsibilities of ownership, building a firm, shaping its identity, and serving clients. Television made her widely known, but the rare book trade is where she actually lives day to day. Rebecca's next big project is a forthcoming book scheduled for 2025, Jane Austen's Bookshelf, a study of Jane Austen's reading and the women writers who influenced her. It aims to resurrect voices that helped form one of English literature's central figures. That's advocacy and scholarship working together, restoring women's contributions to the story of the canon and showing how the canon itself is shaped by culture, gatekeeping, and time. So, what happened to Rebecca? The simplest answer is also the least sensational. Her career grew. She moved from gallery manager to national operations, from on-air expert to prize founder, author, documentary subject, entrepreneur, and advocate. She didn't vanish. She chose where to put her time on the work of finding, interpreting, preserving, and elevating books that tell a fuller story of our culture. Not everyone in the trade agrees with her emphasis on women's writing and popular genres. But that tension is part of why her work matters. It pushes the field forward toward a broader, more representative understanding of what deserves to be collected, studied, and remembered. In other words, the mystery of Rebecca Romney isn't really a mystery. She stepped from the glow of a TV set into a larger stage. The ongoing, sometimes messy, always meaningful work of shaping the literary record. And if you care about books, who wrote them, who read them, and who gets remembered, her path makes perfect sense.